Hello my friends, how are you? Hope you are safe and fine. Once again I welcome all of you to my video lecture. The topic I want to talk about today is exciting, challenging and also a bit complicated. Therefore I want your full attention and I will be slow from the very beginning. Today I want to talk about post-structuralism in general and deconstruction in particular. Let us first concentrate on the word post-structuralism. The prefix post added to the word structuralism clearly indicates that it is after structuralism. It also implies that it is different from structuralism. It is an umbrella term that includes several approaches to literary criticism. It is equally applicable to different human sciences. The prominent post-structuralists are Jacques Derrida, Michel Foucault, Jacques Lacan, Julia Kristeva, and a Yale School of Critics comprising Harold Bloom, Geoffrey Hartman, J. Hillis Miller, and Paul Dahlmann. There is also another figure, Roland Barthes, who was a structuralist and then he shifted his position and became post-structuralist. Among them, Jacques Derrida and the Yale School of Critics focused on the text and textuality. And for a post-structuralist, the whole of the word is the text. Lacan and Kristeva focused on the mind. Michel Foucault focused on society. But all these post-structuralists basically challenged, interrogated and undermined the basic tenets or assumptions of structuralism. Among them, definitely the most prominent figure is Jacques Derrida, and next to him is Michel Foucault. In fact, Jacques Derrida's deconstruction can be considered or regarded as the paradigm of post-structuralism. Therefore, we will concentrate only on Jacques Derrida. Now, we will have to go back to the year 1966 in which a conference was organized in Johns Hopkins University. Jacques Derrida presented a lecture there on structure, sign and play in a discourse of human sciences. And this essay is the starting point of post-structuralism. The conference was organized to popularize structuralism, but in the process it paved the way for post-structuralism. So, Derrida's essay, Structure, Sign and Play in the Discourse of Human Sciences, is the starting point of post-structuralism. Then he wrote another book that is considered to be the seminal work in the field of post-structuralism, that is Of Grammatology. It was published in 1967 and it was translated into English by Gayatri Chakraborty Spivak in 1976. In the opening chapter, it reviews the principles of Ferdinand de Saussure as laid down in his book Course in General Linguistics. Then a middle part of the book is dedicated to his analysis of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, his book Confessions. Derrida particularly deals with Rousseau's essay on the origin of languages. Now, to understand post-structuralism in general and deconstruction in particular, first of all we are to understand the basic assumptions of structuralism. Structuralists believe that the elements of human culture must be understood by way of their relationship to a larger system or structure. Let me give you an example. The word dwarf or the concept dwarf. Now, the word dwarf or the part dwarf is meaningful so long as it is the inseparable part of a larger structure called building. If we place the door in the open field, it will lose its meaning as door. It is door because it is not window or it is not the ventilator. Similarly, in a song there are so many notes, but each of the notes is meaningless in isolation. The note will be meaningful so long as it is the inseparable part of that particular song. Now, structuralism begins in Ferdinand de Saussure's work, that is, Course in General Linguistics. According to Saussure, language is a system of signs, S-I-G-N-S, and each of the signs is composed of a signifier and a signified. That means signifier is the sound or its graphic equivalent, that is the word, and signified is the object, is the concept, is the referent. Say for example, my name is Nipom. Nipom, the word Nipom and the sound Nipom is the signifier. And the signified is I, the person. Then Saussure says that there is no inherent relationship between the signifier and the signified. That is, there is no inherent relationship between the word Nipom and the person I. That is, there is no inherent relationship between the word Nipom and I. And this relationship is established arbitrarily on the principle of difference. That is binary opposition. Now, the binary opposition is central to structuralism. I am Nipom because I am not somebody else. This is door because this is not window or ventilator. This is red because this is not mat. I am eating bread because I am not drinking water. Now, according to Saussure or the structuralists, they believe that through binary opposition, we can arrive at stable meaning. We can arrive at definitive meaning. That is, it is possible to arrive at a stable meaning through binary oppositions. Now, the post-structuralists, particularly Derrida, differs from this view. According to Derrida, meaning is not stable. We cannot arrive at a definite meaning through binary oppositions or on the principle of difference. Now, in this regard, Derrida coins a term difference. It means both difference and also deferment. Now, concentrate on the spelling of the word difference. D-I-F-F-E-R-A-N-C-E, not E-N-C-E. So, the word difference refers to both difference and also deferment, that is the postponement. That means, if a particular word is understood because it is in opposition to some other word, that means in the word the meaning is not present, and each of the word can be a signifier at the same time a signified. Then again, the another signified can be also the signifier of another signified. In the process, the meaning will go on and on. The meaning will be endless. That means each of the word has a connotative meaning and a denotative meaning. Now again, each of the denotative meaning will have a connotative meaning and denotative meaning. In this way, the meaning will be deferred. Now, the part of his concept of difference is trace. Let me talk about his trace theory. According to Derrida, no sign is complete by itself. Every sign contains the trace of other signs which differ from itself. One sign leads to another sign. If a sign is the sign of another sign, if a text is the text of another text, then a context is also the context of another context. Thus, Derrida problematizes the basic assumptions of structuralism. Then he argues that in Western culture, people tend to think in terms of binary oppositions. And in binary oppositions, the first term is always the privileged one. White, black, white is the privileged one. It has positive connotation. Beginning, end. Speech, writing. Good, bad. Now let me come to his concept of supplement. He uses the word supplement to denote the constant shifting relationship between speech and writing. As I told you in the beginning, that the middle part of his book of grammatology is dedicated to his analysis of Rousseau's book, Confessions. Particularly, he deals with the essay on the origin of languages. According to Rousseau, writing is a dangerous supplement, a necessary evil. That means speech is the original form. Speech comes first before writing. Therefore, speech is very spontaneous. It is natural. And in speech, there is the presence of the speaker. Therefore, he speaks the truth. And writing is secondary because it comes after speech. And writing is not natural. And writing is not spontaneous. Then Derrida categorically points out that Rousseau debunks writing through writing. He says something against the form of writing through the means of writing. Now in writing, sometimes we say that Rousseau says, Derrida says, I say. That means we cannot say that in writing there is the absence of the speaker, or in speech there is the presence of the speaker. I may speak the truth in my writing, I may not speak the truth in my speech. There are many writers who speak the truth in their writing, but they don't speak the truth in their speeches. That means in the speech there may be the presence of the speaker and there may be the absence of the speaker. In writing, there may be the presence of the speaker, there may be the absence of the speaker. And we cannot say that speech is the original form, the pure form. Let me give you a very simple example. Now, once upon a time, counting was done through sticks or stones. And then some abstract formulas were developed. Now, when we count on the basis of those formulas, can we say that this is not pure form? The original form, that was through sticks or stones, that was the original form. Can we go back to that form? Therefore, Derrida rejects the very concept of original form. Thus, in a speech also there may be the absence of the speaker, or in writing there may be the presence of the speaker. Therefore, he demolishes, or we can say he reverses the speech-writing hierarchy. Then he argues that Western tradition, Western philosophical tradition is phonocentric. Privileging speech over writing is phonocentrism. And through privileging speech, reason, truth, phonocentrism becomes logocentrism. And a Western philosophy, right from Plato till Ferdinand de Saussure or Levi-Strauss, is logocentric. Derrida coins another term, phallogocentrism. It refers to the privileging of masculinity in the construction of meaning. Derrida demolishes that too. Thus we see that Derrida's deconstruction shakes the very foundation of the tradition of Western thought. Derrida's deconstruction paves the way for the multiple interpretation of text. Derrida's deconstruction lays stress on the undecidability of the text. And it can be any text, a philosophical text, a theological text, or a literary text. Derrida's deconstruction lays stress on the open-endedness of text. And Derrida's deconstruction must be understood as a reading strategy rather than a methodology. That means it is up to my choice of the reading of a particular text. It will be my interpretation, and likewise there will be several interpretations by several readers. The book is open to any kind of interpretation. So open-endedness is given much importance. If I adopt deconstructive approach, I say look for aporias, blind spots, moments of contradiction, and a gap, so that the text becomes ambiguous. We cannot arrive at the definitive meaning of the text. Let me give you an example. There is a play called Titus Andronicus by William Shakespeare. Now, if I adopt structuralist approach to interpret the play, there is every possibility that I shall find a conflict between Roman nobility and Gothic barbarity in the play. That means there will be the binary opposition of Roman nobility and Gothic barbarity. And Roman nobility will have positive connotation and Gothic barbarity will have negative connotation. But if I adopt deconstructive approach to the interpretation of the same play, the binary oppositions of Roman nobility and Gothic barbarity will invade each other. That means Roman nobility will also contain the trace of Gothic barbarity. Gothic barbarity will also contain the trace of Roman nobility. And in the process, we cannot arrive at a definitive meaning of the text. So therefore, a deconstructive critic looks for aporias, blind spots, gap, contradictions in a text, so that the text becomes ambiguous, so that the text becomes open to multiple interpretations. So this deconstruction must be understood as a reading strategy. The same text can be subjected to multiple interpretations by multiple readers across the cultures. Now let me come to my final say on Derrida's deconstruction. I see a similarity between Derrida's deconstruction and Buddhist philosophy. In Buddhist philosophy, there is the denial of the self. The soul or the self is not given importance. Buddhist philosophy gives importance to the emancipation. So to say, in our personal life, if we adopt deconstructive approach, deconstructive mindset, then we will not become arrogant. We will not become egoist. Rather, we will become compassionate. Rather, we will become kind-hearted. In this world, there are so many people, there are so many faiths. For example, there are so many religions, and each of the religious groups, they have their own faith system. They claim that this is the ultimate truth. The Jewish religion will claim that this is the ultimate truth. The Christian religion will claim that this is the ultimate truth. In the process, we see that there is no absolute truth. Therefore, one truth will invade the other truth, and in the process we will not arrive at the final truth. Therein lies the greatness of Derrida, or the greatness of Derrida's deconstruction. Therefore, though Derrida's deconstruction came into existence in 1966, it is still very relevant. And I see every possibility that it will continue to be relevant. Readers across the world, scholars across the world, critics across the world still adopt this approach to the interpretation of the text. And it can be any text, it can be any branch of human sciences. So thank you so much. Once again, I shall meet you. Have a very, very nice day.